Looks like Timaeus isn't here today. Customers? Oh, pardon me. Are you looking for Timaeus? No. Just strange for him to not be around. Paimon always sees him standing here. I see. He was called away by Albedo a little while ago. I was called over to attend to the store. I'm Sucrose, Albedo's assistant. If you have any alchemy-related queries, you could always ask me. I do my best to help. Actually, I'm not very good at this kind of thing. My apologies. I don't get out too often. If you need any help, just call my name. If not, I'll be reading a book. Thanks. No worries. We're all clued up on the basics of alchemy, aren't we? Hey, aren't you the legendary traveler? The one who repelled Storm Terror? I've heard so many stories about you. Always wanted an what do you mean? Sorry, don't mind me. What am I saying? Still, you'd definitely be able to help Albedo. There's that name again! Albedo! Is he also an alchemist in Mondstadt? Apologies. I never introduced him. Albedo is the Knights of Favonia's chief alchemist. He's also Timaeus and my teacher. But Paimon's only ever seen Timaeus teaching alchemy. So that means Albedo is a teacher? Yes. He's dedicated himself to investigating the truth of this world, and has made many an important breakthrough. We often get alchemists coming to Mondstadt from all over Teyvat, seeking his help. They say that the subtlest of guidance from Mr. Albedo helps him to solve the most unfathomable of problems. Wow! Paimon didn't know he was such a big deal! Still, it seems that he's encountered a problem in his research recently. Every time I see him, he has a concerned look on his face. I'm sure that Albedo would love to hear about your incredible exploits. I know it would bring him lots of new inspiration. Albedo is a true gentleman. He'll be sure to pay you back in equal measure for helping him out. Paimon doesn't need any help in that department. But if Albedo wants to pay Paimon back for helping... Albedo and Timaeus will be conducting research in the mountains right now. I'd love to take you both to see him, but somebody has to attend to the store. I'm afraid you'll have to go to the entrance to the pass and look for him by yourselves. Look out for... Sorry. That's the best I can do. Hey, stop worrying. We got this.
That's a nice one.
Sucrose is a whole lot less nervous once she gets talking about alchemy and research, huh? Is that... Anyway, let's go and look for Albedo.
Sister Rosaria! So here you are! Choir practice is about to...
I've told you already, I don't go in for that kind of thing.
But this event has commemorative significance.
Hopes? That's odd, 'cause I don't recall a fulfill the hopes of others clause in my job description.
I mean, sure, but...
But what? You're the event organizer, aren't you? Do you not...
What do you mean?
This far out from Mondstadt at this hour? Even if you... Who knows? Maybe this is someone's grand plan.
Huh? Well, that can't be...
Evidence decides what people are like, not your feelings. Maybe you're a little too Don't fret. Nobody's gonna blame you if you go back empty-handed. I can't imagine anyone else was delusional enough to think I was gonna show up. But if you dally any longer, you really won't...
You're right. It's a very important commemorative event. If I'm late, then... right, I've gotta get going.
Seems like that sister's an expert in making
I thought I heard something. Who are you and why are you eavesdropping?
We'd better watch out. She seems like a dangerous villain. Or a trickster at best.
Oh, really? I'm a member of the long-standing Favonius Church. You're an eavesdropping pixie from who knows where.
Wait, she heard that? But Paimon was whispering so quietly.
And as for this outlander you seem to be following... So it's you, the honorary knight that saved us from Storm Terror. Well then, given your status, I won't... Otherwise, depending on your answer, I could have arrested you on the spot.
What? Do the Sisters of Mondstadt have the authority to arrest—
We can't go turning a blind eye to hidden dangers, can we? Why shouldn't sisters have a sense of justice?
That doesn't sound right. But Paimon can't think of a good comeback.
Let's talk about you. What are you doing in the mountains? If it's him you're after, I made a point of Many people have made their way up after the snowstorm.
So, are you also looking for him?
No, this is just a professional habit of mine. I sensed elemental traces in these tracks. Never hurts to be vigilant. I couldn't care what you think. Come on then. I'd like to see what he's up to anyway.
Rosaria said there were elemental traces in the tracks. They should show up pretty clearly with elemental sight.
You know, little pixie, your ability to appear and disappear at will is very interesting.
Yeah?
After committing a crime, you'd be able to leave the scene without a trace.
You're so suspicious. Why is Paimon a criminal in your example? It's getting colder and colder. Rosaria, aren't you freezing?
Me? I'm all right. I got used to operating in adverse conditions a long time ago.
Huh? Seems like there's more to being a sister in the Favonius Church than Paimon realized. Is that Albedo? Why would he hang around a place like this?
The word on the street is he loves painting. He'll hang around anywhere for a good landscape. The views and scenery here are pretty good. Potential paintings everywhere.
But can't he see those hilichurls? Isn't he Uh-oh. Looks like we startled them. Enough talk! Let's take them out of the picture first.
Burn! Who are you? Why did you Thank the gods I'd already completed my painting. Would have been a shame to leave these particular hilichurls unfinished.
What's up with painting hilichurls? What makes them so interesting?
I'm afraid the answer isn't easy to explain. If you'd like to have a look at my painting, it may give you a clue.
Wow! Look at the detail! But
You can find these hilichurls anywhere. Quite boring, in fact. But take a look at this specimen. The build, the coat, and there's a distinct force at work here. In the cyclical lives of such primitive communities, such...
Hold your horses. Something tells me we're in for a thesis and I haven't got the stamp. We found your man. I'm headed back.
What? Don't you have any questions for him? Hey! What a weirdo.
So Sister Rosaria brought you. But back to the point. From her words, it seems that you were looking...
We met a girl in Mondstadt, Sucrose. She said you were stuck with your research.
I see. So Sucrose sent you here. Then, if I'm not mistaken, you must be the honorary knight. You've got the whole of Mondstadt talking. I've heard a bit of everything. Your actions during Storm Terror's attack, your element... I'll skip to the conclusion. There's only one possibility after all. You came from... Excellent. If I could procure your assistance, I think my research would benefit... Forgive me. This must be confusing. Where should I begin?
Whoa. You want to start with that?
You're right. Giving a demonstration. For example, awakening life. Breathing new life into fallen leaves.
You can do that?
However, I have a particular seed in my possession. It's like you, in that it hails from another world.
Well, if you're struggling to figure it...
I beg to differ. I'm unable to comprehend the intricacies of life outside of the known world. But you're not from the known world. By observing and researching you, I may just be able to find a...
Shall we just get out of here? This sounds a little freaky.
It's possible. But I will do everything. Time for a change of surroundings. We should be going.
Albedo and that traveler seem to have hit it off. Takes a weirdo to know one, I guess. I wonder, does this constitute a risk to Mondstadt?
Paimon has a question. After the sea...
I don't know. But I feel the importance will lie in the method, not using alchemy to awaken otherworldly life into that would constitute a big leap in my understanding of the essence of after awakening. Even creation, maybe.
No, Paimon's got a brain. But what's the seed gonna become? Isn't that more...
Well, if it turns out to be a delicious fruit, dinner's...
Yay! Paimon's holding you to it.
Well, let's just say I, occasionally have to look after a child. The subject of my first research was the elements. In this world, manipulating the element. How you're able to freely manipulate elemental power is something I'd like to ascertain. Firstly, do you have any extra organs? A second heart? A fourth stomach? Fascinating. And this floating
What a stupid question! Can't you see the gap between us? And another thing, it's Paimon, not floating...
I was merely considering the possibility that you were an external organ. Oh, that rules out that possibility. I wonder... Did Paimon guide the elemental power? But that would mean that Paimon's elemental power would be enough to break through a mountain rock at least 10 meters thick. Or cause the waterfall south of Springville to flood.
Hey! How would you...
In that case, it would appear that there's no obvious difference, but given that there's clearly a discrepancy. Firstly, this mysterious element... Let me lure a few slimes to the area.
Huh?
Direct and clear observation are imperative to... Naturally, if you require a greater challenge, we could bring in 6 Oceanids.
Slimes! Slimes are fine!
Well, Prepare yourself.
Verdict is... to dust! Terra Smash! Quake! Burn!
Let's spark things.
Terra Smash!
Great work. Did you feel anything out of the ordinary? If you're injured, I have a few emergency potions ready. Excellent. According to my observations, the manifestation of the now that we know that the external flow is manifesting normally,
Internal flow? How do you test that?
it's very simple. I can use alchemy to create a potion that will extract elemental power. If the elemental power is stored or accumulated physically within your body, this potion may elicit an elemental reaction.
Sounds kinda terrifying.
Don't worry. In the normal course of events, you'd feel some
And in the abnormal course?
If anything unexpected occurs, I've made the necessary preparations. Well, it's not that there aren't any risks involved, but if there is anything, just a warning. If an internal elemental reaction occurs for any other reason, that's a bad sign. Yes, that's an excellent way to think about it. Before we get... It's a type of ore known as star silver. But unfortunately, I'll take you to my campsite. We can gather all going to plan.
Paimon's still got a few... Let's keep our eyes open.
Here. Should do for catalyst purposes. This one. Usable with a bit of polish. What luck. This should be enough. My campsite is just up ahead. I'll lead the way.
Time for retribution! To dust!
This is my campsite. I've added the materials we collected to the concoction. While we are waiting, have a look over here. My assistant Timaeus here is helping me with my research. I'm guessing you may have met in Mondstadt already.
Hello! I've just gotten hold of the data from your experiment. The report is already up on the board there.
Whoa! Look at all the data! You got all these results from one slime battle?
I wouldn't call them results, inferences, and a few daring guesses perhaps. I think the most rational direction would be to expound on the phylogenetic relationship between this traveler and the slimes. Consider. You don't have a vision, but you can manipulate elemental energy. The slimes don't have visions either, yet they too are able to manipulate the... Following this line of thought, I'm sure...
Not bad for a point of entry. But strictly speaking, slimes are elemental life forms. In other words, beings consisting in a cryoregisvine, or even a whopperflower might be a better analogy in that sense.
Yes, sir.
After all, we've got our primary data already. If it turned out that he did have a phylogenetic relationship with this world...
Ah, it would. Apologies. I was so excited to get the data. Speaking of data, to complete our research, we'll need some more. I'll be
Great, I'll leave you to it. Looks like the potion's ready. I'll try a little first. In line with my expectations. Ready to drink. Remember to keep calm at all times, and breathe deeply if you feel unwell.
Tasty? You've got a funny look on your face. You said you tried some already. You sure it was ready? What happened to him?
Oh, this was the result I was expecting. This potion channels elemental power into the body. But if the internal elemental flow is unimpeded, you'll only experience...
So you knew you'd be sick and still drank some?
It was my own concoction, of course. Only natural for me to be the guinea pig. But of course, you're my assistant. In conclusion, I'd say we have our conclusion. As far as elemental energy...
Aw, Paimon wanted something cool.
Then again, better an ordinary result than a peculiar result. The good thing about ordinary is that everything is an object of reference. People are the same, they can understand, empathize. When you're sick, a doctor can diagnose you because they are you. But a peculiar for example, a human can't understand the life of a pyroregisvine, or an eye of the storm. To sum up, this has been a positive... Timaeus, the results of the new experiment are out.
Just a moment, sir. I'll handle it. You gave me a lot to consider. Having you down as an animal wasn't very precise.
Not bad. I think it's an interesting line of inquiry.
You can count on me.
Is he trying to join the Knights? What?
If you're interested, why not?
Here comes Albedo! Let's go see him!
I'm back. Did you see anything interesting? Not to worry. They're all for alchemical purposes. You'd be hard-pressed to find an everyday use for them. Well, on with the research. There may be significant differences between... Take Tevat, for example. But worlds may well exist where only one person is able to do so. So, leaving elements to one side, I think answering this question calls for the same methodology as last time. In other words, no. Now, see this pillar here? Use your willpower to try and break it.
You think Paimon knows how to do that stuff?
That was your best effort? Have you tried using your elemental power with food? I'm curious to see how the taste and texture respond. It may even help with proliferation. I suppose I have a cure. Anyway, why don't you cook us?
Cooking? Paimon was looking forward.
Not only is this recipe a staple for me, it's also worth experiment.
Paimon, that does sound yummy though. Okay, Paimon approves. Good buddies are always on the same.
I'll leave you to it then. If there's anything left over.
Paimon, how are we gonna channel elemental power into the food? Maybe try the willpower thing again. Where does it get these ideas from anyway?
That was fast. An average outcome experiment. As far as the proliferation hypothesis is concerned, we've come up short. Unless... Could it be that the natural laws of this world are limiting your...
We just didn't know how to channel elemental power into the food.
Not to worry. At least we put some food to good. And here's your portion. Enjoy.
Woohoo! Thanks! Glad you were paying attention.
I can tell that you're good friends. Paimon was keeping an eye on you and not that Paimon would have been able to do much if things had gone wrong.
Hey! You were being nuts, but you do have tasty recipes, so Paimon forgives you. And you're right, we are good friends. You have good friends too, right? Good students?
Yes. I'm fortunate too, I suppose. There are all manner of alchem... I managed to retrieve the majority, but 2 vials have been evading me.
Paimon's barely finished eating.
Don't worry if you can't locate them. I was planning to replace them anyway. If you had, say, superpower, like night vision, I must have dropped them somewhere in the area where you were looking just...
So, guess we'd better take a look. Oh yeah! You can... This must be electrohypostasis powder. The extract of an animo crystal fly can only be animo elemental energy, right?
Goodness. You managed to find them. I'm wondering... This...
Yep. Guess it does sort of count.
Unfortunately, though elemental sight is only a never-before-seen otherworldly power with...
You mean, we failed to get...
Don't be disheartened. This falls entirely with... I have to commend your deduction that the items... Right then. Up until now, our research has focused on your other world. In essence, the differences between humans are looking out from where we're standing. Can you see what Sucrose is doing? And if you jump from here and landed on that cliff, the one over there. So what about if you planted a single blow on the mountain face here? Then I shouldn't get too excited. I know of a location that will be perfect.
You want us to jump?
Not necessarily. Not if you know of a better method, that is. Whichever method you choose, the experiment will end when you reach the opposite shore. I will factor the time expended and your time.
The opposite side of the lake. So, we're gonna...
Without limitations, we complete tasks and do it. Some of us would... No matter what choice you make, it's all a part of the experiment. For me, then if you would, please...
Wait a minute! While we're busy testing, what exactly are you gonna be doing?
Me? Recording data, responding to risks, providing, emotional support.
So if we do decide to go swimming, you gonna dive in with us?
No. Unless you're thinking of conducting competitive research?
Oh! Forget Paimon said anything.
Great work. I've never... Your reputation precedes you, traveler.
But you followed us the whole way without breaking it.
Me? Actually, I used alchemy to cheat a little. If it turns out that the natural laws of Tevat do not affect you, if the natural laws of Tevat do affect you, the innumerable possibilities...
But how does this help your research?
You've helped me to unravel many of the problems that were holding it back. When we return to the campsite, I may be about to make some gold, petrified trees. The essence of the investigative process is enthralling. I'm willing to pour all my energy into research. All these things that start out as objects of fascination end up...
Oh, so that's why you wanted to paint those hilly troops?
Precisely. To quote my exact words from earlier.
So after all these experiments, are we gonna be, like, boring?
Of course not. You have been now. Before... Follow me. I imagine you must have encountered more than a few conundrums during your travels. I'd like to observe your intelligence by means of a practical test of your capabilities, much as we did for the physical test. I'd like you to explore these ruins and return with your... There are 2 puzzles located at the far ends of the ruins. As with the physical test, there are no restrictions. Everything you do is an action, a tried and tested advantage. So, let's see you in action. It's a complex environment, so proceed with caution. Sealy like these are a common sight in the mountains. Returning them to their rightful places is up to you.
Terra Smack! Time for retribution!
Try not to enjoy.
Quick! Verdict is...
It should now be possible to activate the central mechanism. Exactly what will happen when you do is something I'm looking forward to finding out. Oh, seems that the water level has suddenly decreased. We should be able to see what's in the water now. What's this? To the best of my knowledge, these belong to a script of some kind. There's still a lot to learn about them. Let me make a copy first. I'll make time.
Another thing. Seems like if you want...
I've truly gained a lot from all this. Let me return to the campsite first. By the time you get back, I may just have a fleeting miracle for you to witness.
Paimon's kind of looking forward to see, unless you can think of...
Not so fast. You're not leaving until I'm convinced that nothing...
You!
I most certainly did not. And I've witnessed... I must say, you let your guards down. Or maybe you were drawn in by his compelling-sounding hypothesis and friendly demeanor. Taking orders from a complete stranger? Drinking anonymous... I'd sooner believe you were tricked than...
Sister Rosaria's guard's so high, she can't even see over the top of it.
It doesn't matter what you think. He could be a saint for all you know. I'm only concerned with one thing. Whether his alchemy has...
No way! Paimon would have sensed it. And anyway, he didn't even use any alchemy.
With an alchemist of his level, you wouldn't sense a thing. In any case, I'm not about...
So, what are you gonna do?
I've gotta hand it to you. You have your moment. I've investigated everything else. The only items left on the agenda are...
But we don't even know what they mean.
That much is true. Not to mention, seems like there's nothing more to them. But for insurance purposes, I'd better make a copy. Now then, which is what I was hoping.
Overtime.
Before we go our separate ways, Outlander, a word of advice. Don't be so quick to trust Albedo, and don't repeat the same mistakes that you did this time. You made a lot of rash decisions today.
She's gone. So stubborn. Mondstadt doesn't have many people like that. Huh. Never mind.
You're back. Good timing. I've just about reached the conclusion. You took quite a while. Did you get held up on the way back? Time for the results. We got a myriad of data today, and it was very difficult to finish all the research in one go. But the integral preliminary conclusion that I can offer you is... You're very much like a human from this world.
You couldn't tell that just by looking? We spent all day working our butts off for that?
Please, I understand that this may have seemed self-evident to you, but in fact, nothing in this world should be taken for granted. Have you ever considered that the world of Teyvat may have a natural hostility to Outlanders? I mentioned the natural laws of this world. You're able to converse with me here without consequence, and nothing seems amiss. But it's arguably a small miracle. The only other life form that, like you, has come here from afar is the seed that I mentioned. Under the effects of Teyvat's natural laws, it isn't even able to sprout, let alone bloom. But after I observed you, I had another idea. Imitating you helped to inspire my alchemy. And so...
Whoa! It looks like something's appearing!
The transition from nothing into something, from shoot to stem, and now to fruition. Is not nurturing otherworldly life also nurturing the world itself?
Aww.
It would seem that that's as far as we go. A transient bloom of incomparable beauty. Life's proudest achievement.
Paimon thought, with all our efforts, it might have bloomed forever, and it didn't even have any fruit.
Life is a manifold tapestry of free entities. Its value shouldn't derive from how long it stays with us. Even a momentary burst is precious. A short life can be well lived. A life lived efficiently, lived to perfection, is necessarily one unburdened by loneliness. So, do you understand what I meant about us conversing here arguably being a small miracle?
Things feel a little heavy right now. Don't be sad. You've got Paimon to look after you. Albedo, Paimon really wants to be your friend.
Thank you both. Even if dispelling loneliness is not essential for life, it certainly doesn't hurt. Your help inspired me to discover the means to make a flower bloom. I mean that the time I've spent traveling with you in the mountains was a valuable journey for me. In the future, if the need arises, can I solicit your help? Well, glad I can count on you. I made a point throughout of telling him how ordinary the results were. But what was that sediment I saw forming at the bottom of the vial? It should not have been there. What could it mean? Those born of Earth are bound by its imperfections, but those born of chalk are free of impurities. You and I are alike, both composed of a substance that has yet to be fully defined. If, one day, I lose control, destroy Mondstadt, destroy everything, can I rely on you to stop me?